Hello everyone, welcome to another soulful sip contemplation. As always, before we start, I would like to invite you to grab one of your favorite drinks, tea, coffee, or a cup of water, and join me for today's contemplation about midlife awakening. Yes, you heard it right. It's not midlife crisis, it's midlife awakening. And the whole purpose of this contemplation is to articulate why it's not a crisis, but it is indeed an awakening, a flourishing, an individuation, a unity, a coming into wholeness, hopefully with your authentic self. Where shall we start? There are so many things to say about this, but I would like to start with a quote by Carl Jung, who says, "Life really does begin at 40. Until then, you are just doing research." Let's take a couple seconds to digest. What do you see in this? Maybe reframing, what do you feel in this? I feel a sense of hope. I feel a sense of openness. I feel a sense of innovation, creation, curiosity. If life really brings at 40, and if what we have done before is research, this really means that we know ourselves a lot better by that time. We know the world, how the world operates, what's our positioning in it, what we like about it, what we dislike about it, what's our gifts, what are our vulnerabilities. We know all about this. And because it's starting at 40 and we have all this knowledge, there is hope that we can position ourselves in the right places because we know ourselves better. We could be more open, honest, transparent, authentic in our communications. We can create more beautiful things aligned with who we truly are, supporting our values. We can bring new innovation with all the knowledge that we've acquired before. So when I really read this quote, it brings so much joy, hopefulness to my heart. Yet, when I look around and when I have conversations with my peers who could be classified as going through the midlife awakening process, I see, unfortunately, so much sadness, lack of vitality, lack of hope, disappointment that comes with frustrations that they had to go through in life. Let's also acknowledge that life is not easy. While we are doing research till 40, yes, we all have to go through probably many failures, many losses. Likely we had lots of conflicts. Likely we had quite a lot of heartbreaks. So it's absolutely understandable that there might be some bitter moments that we have experienced. Well, without those moments, we are not human. Yet, I think what's important to remember is the fact that life is a continuous journey, and all those failures, heartbreak, sadness turn out to be a part of our growth process. And all those things made us the person that we are today. And instead of really losing ourselves in the dramatic past, what if we reframe those experiences and use them as an opportunity for a new beginning with all the knowledge, with all the lessons, with all the pain that we were able to transform? Why not? to turn that disappointment and sadness into something new, something beautiful, something more aligned with who we truly are in the second half of life. So, in this way, we can reframe that crisis into an awakening. What does awakening mean? To awaken means to to wake up from sleep. And we usually affiliate sleep with an unconscious state. So to wake up really means to awaken fully, to integrate fully all parts of ourselves. In Jungian psychology, Jung says this is the process for individuation. We have conscious identities that we live in the world through those identities, but there are also unconscious things, our shadow that we pushed down below. And usually, midlife is the time period where all those things that we push down below because of family, societal structures, they were not welcome because we were not able to integrate them into our conscious identities. They stayed in the shadows and we were just sleeping through them. And usually, as a part of soul's evolution, somewhere around ages between 35 and 40, something in us starts bubbling up. And in Maslow's hierarchy, this could be also seen as a part of the self actualization, too. Like after achieving so many things till that midlife, starting with physical security, social security, love, achieving our own success, at one point, there's this individuation welcoming all parts of ourselves, including the parts that we regressed. And that usually turns out to be around this Middle Ages because it is creating so much turbulence as a starting point. Most of us really frame it as a crisis moment. But I think this is only a point of observation and a classification of that observation. And there's always an opportunity to see this, not as a crisis, but as an invitation for awakening, for waking up from sleep, for seeing all of ourselves and welcoming all of ourselves. Well, there are many things that I would like to share in this contemplation, and one of them is actually coming from another famous author who is well known for her work around vulnerability, Brené Brown. She has a beautiful definition about midlife changes that we are going through. Her article is named Midlife Unraveling, and I would like to share a brief description of this crisis moment that we usually feel when we are around mid ages. She says, this is the moment life is telling us, I'm not screwing around. All of this pretending and performing, these coping mechanisms that you have developed to protect yourself from feeling inadequate and getting hurt, it has to go. Your armor is preventing you from growing into your gifts. I understand that you needed these protections when you were small, and I understand that you believed your armor could help you secure all of the things that you needed to feel worthy and lovable. But you are still searching, and you are more lost than ever. Time is growing short. There are unexplored adventures ahead of you. You can't live the rest of your life worried about what other people think. You were born worthy of love and belonging. Courage and daring are coursing through your veins. You were made to live and love with your whole heart. It's time to show up and to be seen. Isn't it beautiful? Yeah, midlife awakening is an invitation extended from life for us to wake up like, hey, you've been sleeping in the first half and time is passing. You might die soon. Just wake up. and really be the all of you shamelessly, like I say in some of my other contemplations. Bring all of yourself, your authentic self, into the world. And in the same essay, she points out another important interpretation. She says, this is the moment we wake up to self love, to love all of ourselves, to acknowledge that we are lovable with all of our parts, the shadow parts that we had to push through because it didn't somehow fit into the classical definitions of what is acceptable in society. This is a self love moment to integrate all parts of yourself. And it could be classified from outside as a crisis because seeing it this way, first facing with your own shadows and taking responsibility for them, it is not easy. Blaming is easy, blaming life is easy, blaming others is easy, but taking responsibility, feeling like, okay, I'm grown up, I'm okay to give up all these mechanisms, coping mechanisms that I had to develop when I was younger. But now I can see them. I can wake up. I can look them in the face. That is not easy, but we have that power within us too. Another favorite author of mine, Marianne Williamson, she has another beautiful saying about one of our biggest fears. It is our capacity as human beings. And I would like to share that in this contemplation too. She says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It's our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. You are playing small, doesn't serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We are born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let go our own light shine, we unconsciously invite others and give them permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. What if we all shine shamelessly? What if we bring all of ourselves into what we do, where we are all the time? I think that would heal the world. I truly believe that we are beautiful. Coming back to my definition of beauty, beauty is the unity within our diversity. And to be able to create that holistic beauty, we all need to bring all of our diversity, all of ourselves into the picture and let that create a harmony. Seen this way, to be able to heal, to come to that unity, it's our individual responsibility as individuals to be able to bring all of ourselves. Unless we do that, we are not able to heal. Sometimes the transition that I made from a more traditional healthcare system to what I do right now, which is awakening and creating media, is confusing for some people in my networks. Like, how come you made this transition from healthcare to this thing? And I said, my definition of healthcare or health has changed over time. Now it's more inclusive. It's not defined within the boundaries of Western medicine, which only looks into health from a bodily definition. To me, health really means wholeness, bringing wholeness to our bodies, to our mind, to our emotions, to our souls. And it only can happen when we truly become whole as individuals and let that diversity to shine out to the world so that we can unite with other diverse individuals and create this beauty in the world and heal the world from that place. There is a book written by an Australian writer. She was a caregiver at home looking and caring for dying people. And she wrote a book out of her 8 years of service and observations, listening to the conversations of dying people. Maybe you might have heard about this book. The title is Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. And the number one regret is authenticity. I wish I lived a life according to my own terms, not according to the societal expectations. This is the number one regret that people shared in their deathbeds. Isn't it deep? We mostly live life as if we are not gonna die anytime soon. But you never know. In this contemplation, there are so many quotes bubbling up. I think in one of his quotes, Steve Jobs was also saying that if you live every day as if you're gonna die, one day it's gonna be true. Like, yeah, one day we are going to die. And that day might be tomorrow. That day might be even today. How can you bring all of yourself to each experience? So, if something happens, you know that. You did it well. You lived. You brought all of yourself to life. Currently, I am reading another book by Brené Brown about emotions, where she's describing all different emotions, and regret is one of them. And regret is sometimes what we feel because we are responsible out of our own actions. And according to her research, people regret more about the actions that they didn't take. So instead of regretting not being ourselves, why not? We start from today and awaken all those shadow parts in ourselves. Welcome all of them. Love all of them. Integrate all of them. So we can be healthy. So we can bring all of ourselves into the world and make this as one of the greatest service that we can give back to the world too. Our healing can heal the world. And I think indeed that's the only way. I've been operating in many different systems, including big multinationals. I've been a part of different private or also nonprofit organizations too. Yes, there is impact we can make through different organizations, but we have the highest level of control in our own organization as an individual. And once we heal, if everyone heals, if everyone takes that responsibility of seeing their shadows, integrating their shadows, welcoming all of their parts that they ignored when they were younger back into their lives, we can heal collectively. We can fasten the healing process of our world too. So seen this way, this is not a crisis. It is really a rebirth. And hopefully this will be the last thing that I will quote or share. But for that reframing, I would like to borrow from John O'Donoghue, one of my favorite Irish poets, in one of his YouTube videos, which I can link in the description, specifically which one. He's talking about how our specific conditioning or observations might define how we experience things. So this is beautiful. I will directly borrow from him. Suppose you were to do an interview with the baby in the womb and say it was a baby really sharp. And it asks, what's going to happen to me? And you say, okay, if you want to know, I will tell you. In a little while, you are going to be expelled from the womb, and and this is the place where you lived and sheltered. Secondly, you are going to be pushed along the passageway where you would feel you are being smothered in every moment. Thirdly, you are going to be dropped out into the most garish, searing, transparent light. Fourthly, the cord that connects you to the mother will be cut. Fifth, regardless of how close you ever come to anyone, you will always be on your own. Six, you are going to go on a journey for which there are no maps. Seven, and anything can happen to you on the way. The baby would have no choice but to conclude that it was dying, when in actuality it is being born. To me, this is the real definition of midlife awakening. Yes, an old version of you is dying. But instead of defining this as a crisis, you can see this as an opportunity for rebirth, as an opportunity for birthing all of you, healing all of you, bringing all of your authentic self out in the world, shining brightly, loving yourself fully, and being the embodiment of the healing possible in our world, and inviting others to do the same. Is it easy? Likely not. But, well, we are in it, right? So why not to try? I hope this really helps you to see midlife in a different way, as an opportunity to awaken to hidden parts that are silently waiting for our integration. And I truly believe that we are all beautiful inside and out. And if we can bring all those hidden parts to light, love them, see them, integrate them, and once we heal ourselves, we can heal the world. Shall we try? I think it's worth it. Thank you for being here, and thank you for awakening the inner beauty inside you and bringing more of it externally out to our world and healing our world. See you in the next one.